Tributary Sewer Improvements Project, the Sedgefield Park section. We're happy that you've joined us, and today Cam Coley and myself, Laura Nazida, will be the meeting moderators. Questions can be submitted via the WebEx platform in the Q&A section that can be found on the right of the screen, and those questions will be addressed at the end by the project team if we do have any. This presentation will also be recorded and posted after the meeting at the website below, and that will be there for you as a resource if needed. And at this time, I will now pass it over to the project manager for Charlotte Water, Mac.
Thanks, Laura. As you said, my name is Mac McClanahan. During this presentation, we'll go over a couple things. We'll kind of introduce the project team, so you're familiar with the logos and names and faces if you see them. We'll go over some goals and overview, kind of what to expect during construction, our kind of baseline schedule we have currently, and then at the end, we'll touch on a little Q&A as Laura mentioned. So again, here's kind of the org chart for the project. Again, my name is Mac McClanahan. I'm with Charlotte Water. We're the owners on the job. Some more kind of names or faces you may see would be Travis Gass, who would be our on-site construction inspector, as well as Jennifer Frost, who kind of works with Laura doing PR for us. And then kind of who we hired for this job was BRS and STV combined. BRS will be our contractor with Will Eisenhower, and STV with Andrew Vane. And you can kind of see their logos on the right there, just in case you see them on signs or trucks and equipment, so you kind of know what project it's kind of related to. So the overall goals for the project is obviously we want to enhance the pipe performance. We have issues in the area, whether that be age of pipe or capacity issues, and at the current moment we're kind of limited on how much development can happen in the area. So we want to increase the size of the pipe so that we can increase development area and growth for Charlotte. And also, we definitely want to protect the water quality in the areas of the creeks. So what to expect for the project? So the area is currently serviced by our Dairy Branch Gravity Sewer. It has a very high rate, as I've kind of mentioned, of flow just due to all the new development and growth in the area. So that's why we're building the new bigger sized pipe to carry that flow. And where is obviously it runs along the Dairy Branch Creek. We'll kind of show you, and it goes from Freedom Park to South Boulevard, but we have a couple maps here in a second that will kind of make it a little easier to understand. So as I mentioned, here's the project area. So we're currently for this project, so BRS and STV are working on another project out there that's kind of off to the bottom right corner of that screen. And they're working on the first phase of this project currently, and then we're about to get kick-started off for this project, which runs right to left up McDonald, and then goes right past the baseball field there in the middle school, and takes a hard left and runs directly east to west and kind of follows a tree line, more or less perpendicular through Idaho Way and Poindexter, and up to South Boulevard as well. So kind of things to expect for this project. You're going to see a lot of equipment, a lot of large digging equipment. You're going to see a lot of construction signs, maybe some detours here and there, and some road closures. You're going to see tree clearing where needed. You might see a lot of open cuts in the road to replace the pipes. You might hear occasional rumble or some digging. So just kind of things to see, and cones and silt fencing and orange construction fencing. So if you see all that stuff, do not be alarmed. It's completely normal, and it's a part of the project. So kind of bigger or more high-level impacts for traffic. We're anticipating that McDonald Avenue, the entrance at Sedgefield Middle, and the neighborhood park there will be temporarily impacted by our construction, which may have a little bit of traffic, build up or some delays. And we're anticipating, unfortunately, that we're going to have to shut down the Greenway. Sedgefield Park Greenway will be closed for roughly 2 to 3 months during the fall. That's unfortunate, but we think it's the safest way to do it, just so that we don't have any customers or any public in there. We obviously want to keep everyone safe. And also we'll have a section of McDonald Avenue near Park Road intersection that will be closed. And I believe it's already closed now, and it's anticipated to be closed all the way through summer of 22. And as a part of one of our next couple slides, we have a kind of a slide to show you the detour routes and where the road closures are going to be. So here's the diagram showing the road closures. So the shaded yellow is a part of this current project, which we're meeting on this evening. The green shaded section is the project that BRS and STV are currently working on, that's currently in construction. And as you can kind of see here in a light color, just above the green shading of going north of Park Road, there's a little yellow dash line through there, and it kind of goes down Ideal Way. So that will be the detour route for when the red line section there on McDonald is closed down. And again, we're estimating closing it until the summer of next year, unfortunately. But we think it's the safest way to do the sequencing of the construction. But again, the detour there would be just right up Park Road and west down Ideal Way, or left down Ideal Way. It wouldn't be west, but big. So currently work completed. So the construction on the overall project began in the fall of 20, and has been progressing along the Dairy Branch Dairy Branch Creek towards South Boulevard. That's the one I've currently mentioned with BRS and STV already. It was more or less from Freedom Park up to that McDonald Road entrance, kind of there near the car wash area, and we're anticipating it to be complete here in the coming months. But currently, what's happening now is obviously pipe installation continuing along the creek. We're about to begin mobilizing for the project, for the new phase of the project. So if you see a lot of equipment moving in and a lot of maybe trees getting cleared, just don't be alarmed. That's a part of this project. And we're going to begin, probably first thing would be the tunneling operations under Scott, Kenworth, and kind of the areas of McDonald Avenues. So upcoming construction, kind of what to expect, is Sedgefield Park. Phase 2 is what we're calling it, which was the yellow shaded section. And we're anticipating, again, construction start hopefully in a month or so, with anticipation of fall of 22 being the final date. And again, kind of we touched on this before, but the Greenway closure, it's unfortunate, but again, it's the safest way to do it. And we're anticipating it's going to happen for 2 to 3 months, but in the fall of this year. But we're obviously going to speed that along as fast as we possibly can. And then again, there will be a third phase of this project eventually. Phase 2 of the project will be at Park Road McDonald, and that is anticipated to begin next summer and last about a year as well. So I guess to kind of wrap up here, it seemed like awfully quick. The ways that if anybody has additional questions or concerns, the best way I feel is to go on the website, which is here in the about the third bullet point. That's the best way to get all the information on the project. We usually update that monthly, I would say, and we send out quarterly mailers to all the homeowners in the area that will be affected, whether that be from easements or blasting or we're in your backyard, or hey, we need to move something, or whatever it may be. So that's how you'll be contacted most of the time. But again, if you can't find what you need on those two things, feel free to reach out to me, and my email address and phone number there at the bottom. So if you have issues or concerns, feel free to give me a call. Now we're going to move to Q&A. If there's any questions, I'm not sure how many attendees we have, or if Cam, if you, Laura, have any questions that you've seen so far.
Yeah, it looks like we've got about 4 attendees. I do not see anybody noting anything in the Q&A section at this point, but if anybody is on and would like to write anything in there, a question for the team, feel free to do so. We can just give it a minute, Mac, just to see if anybody does have any questions.
Sure.
I suggest, since we have 2 that jumped on after the map, go back to the map to show the alignment one more time.
Sure.
Yeah, let's put it on that one right there. Okay. Yep.
Max, would you want to maybe give just a quick little brief overview for those 2 attendees who hopped on?
Sure. So this is the map of where the area of the construction will be happening. The green shaded section is one that's currently in construction right now, excuse me. And the yellow shaded section will be the one that we're planning to start here in about a month or so. The reason this slide is important is because there will be, unfortunately, some road closures, which is kind of denoted there on the red line down McDonald. And then the detour routes, which would be kind of the yellow dash line in between that's on the Park Road and Ideal Way. So that will be the detour for the area. And this is a very good slide to so you can see the whole project area and where, what's going to be closed down and kind of when. And where to, how to get around it and maneuver around it.
And we did actually get two questions, Mac. So the first one being, will Park Road be closed for any of this phase?
I do not believe so, and maybe Will or Drew can step in if you guys would like. I don't believe so. That's why we have the detours going up Park there, because we're tunneling under that area.
Yes, that's right, Mac. Park Road will be open. That'll actually be a major detour route for traffic to get around McDonald's. So phase 3 will be in Park Road, but again, that won't start for another 6, 9, 10, 12 months. So for this project, no, Park Road should remain open.
Okay, thanks guys. And then another question was, when can we expect clearing to begin behind Poindexter Circle just beyond Sedgefield Park towards South Boulevard?
So I don't want to put words in Will's mouth, but clearing is usually the first thing that happens on all of our jobs. So I would assume within the coming months that would happen. Will, feel free to chime in.
Yes, that's correct, Matt. Actually, that area off of Poindexter, from Poindexter up to South Boulevard is actually where we're planning to start our clearing for this project. And reason being is because I'm sure everybody's aware of the construction on South Boulevard. That's another contract Charlotte Water has with a different contractor, and we are actually coordinating with them, and they're going to be installing a section of this sewer within South Boulevard along with their water line. So as far as clearing starting in that area, we're looking at roughly second to third week in September.
Yeah, thanks, Will, for mentioning that about the construction on South Boulevard. I forgot to mention that.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. And we did just get a couple more questions. What will Sedgefield Park look like at the end of the project?
So Sedgefield Park, and Cam, I don't know if you can pan to maybe a post-construction easement clearing of kind of what it would look like, but we're planning to repairing Sedgefield Park back exactly to the way it was before. If there were any trees there that are in our current alignment, obviously those will have to come down, and it will essentially be a grass field or a grass pathway at the end of the day. But any kind of major obstacle we've tried to avoid the best way we possibly can. I don't believe we're hitting any of the tennis courts. I do not believe we're hitting any of the that kind of nice butterfly structure they have out there. So we're not damaging any of that. But if there's any damage that occurs in any of the areas, we'll put it back exactly the way we found it. But for the most part, it will just be more of a clear opening and a pathway.
And then one last question, Drew, I think this kind of goes back to you in regards to the question about closing Park Road. Will phase 3 close Park Road?
Right. So right now we're just starting design of that. I don't anticipate we'll close all of Park Road. I think it's really wide, and it looks to be that the existing sewer, which our intent is to dig and replace, is mainly along the eastern side. So our goal is to try and fit it all in there and keep 1 or 2 lanes open on the western side of Park Road at all times. I think that may be doable, but once we get the survey in, we'll know for sure. But if Park Road does have to close, it'll be closed in phases and pieces, and there'll be detours up. Obviously, we won't close Park Road and close McDonald at the same time. So I think the intent would be to phase it if we absolutely had to, but I think it's pretty wide, and 1 lane of traffic should be able to stay open at all times at a minimum.
Yeah. Thanks, Drew. And just for anybody joining, we'll obviously make sure that any communication materials are going out in regards to any closures or detours that will be taking place. So keep an eye out for that information. It will be coming your way, so you will be well aware of what's going on in the area.
Let me add one more thing about Park Road. So from Kenilworth up, it's very wide. Once you get up near the roundabout, it is very narrow. And I would anticipate from the roundabout north that small section where it transitions to Tremont would probably have to be closed with local detours set up. I think it's too narrow there, so I've forgotten about that.
Thanks, Drew. All right, well, it does not look like we have any additional questions, Mac.
All right.
We can go ahead and wrap it up if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks everybody who attended. And one thing I forgot to mention is if you missed this presentation, you're watching after the fact, it will be posted on our website, so feel free to log on there.
Well, thanks everyone.